I'm glad to have you here, man. And as we move forward, just know that, yeah, I thank you for with all that you do, holding space for us through the slog of carrying those weights and also carrying our own weights as well. Reminds me that, and I think this is also important for us all, that each of you are showing up in this space while we talk about staying at home, where home is, and how to identify where the holidays are taking you. We're all carrying our own weight, but I think also keep in mind while we go through the slog or through the moments of the holidays, for this space, MiiK is also helping us learn and process how to carry weight together.
Mm.
So, MiiK, the floor is yours. I'm in the chat. I'm in the chat.
All right. Thanks, Denard. And welcome,
Yep.
everybody. I'm putting over in the chat a little orientation for this final part of this three-part series, Staying Home for the Holidays. And over there, I like to define those terms so we know what playground we're playing on. So, holiday is about resting, resourcing, reflecting, reckoning. It's usually seen as a break from work, but when we break down what those rituals, traditions, and celebrations are when we come to our holidays, it's either one of those ingredients or multiple of those ingredients that are baked in to what that ceremony is for. And then home, usually seen as where you live, but also known as where we rest, where we dwell, where we grew up, and where our heart is. And so, where our heart is where I come in with my work and have staying home for the holidays being about embodying your holiday. And if we've been really sinking in and paying attention to each one of these weeks, for those of y'all that were here for the last couple of weeks, that we reflected on the past in that first week when we slowed down. We were looking at where were those holidays that were coming from, because those are influencing how we feel in this present moment. We also projected into the future with stretch out. We looked at where are we going? Where is like our obligations and our assumptions and our have tos taking us, or where are we going with those things? So we're looking at the future in that. And so today we sit with reckoning with the present. We're going to really be in this feel through place about we've been doing this healing work. Those of y'all in this room have been doing this work for either a week up to a year, 2 years, multiple years on circles. And so you have tools, you have knowledge, you have even some sense of self. And now it's about, okay, I've discovered this is the that I don't like certain things and I like other things. I remembering some stuff that is me and discovering some things that I didn't even know that I appreciated or that helped support my health. And so we're going to be reckoning with the present with our feel through. And then below that, the first week was that slow down. We slow down in terms of time because we're moving so fast so that we can see the scenery. We can pay attention to all the details and nuances when we slow down that's happening in us and around us. And then we can take off ramps. We open up other options for us to choose our trajectory in which way it goes. And then last week we stretched out. It's all about noticing what we like and what we don't like about the obligations that we have, and then noticing any reflexes or patterns that we're just looking that we're repeating unconsciously. And so we stretch out so we can start to feel those little subtleties and nuances too, so we can engage more in that dynamic. And so then we land on today. Copy, paste. Okay. So we're in feel through. The major question for feel through: where do you want to be for the holidays? So you notice I'm playing around with the staying home for the holidays. And remember, when I say staying home, that doesn't mean being in a good place. Home isn't necessarily a good feeling place to be. When I'm talking about our bodies, when I'm talking about our hearts, We have broken hearts. We have very corrupted bodies through what we feed it in terms of food, what we feed it in terms of the words that we say to ourselves, and what we feed it in terms of relationships that we put ourselves in. And so, in feeling through, we're going to sort through our wants and needs. Like, okay, I've been doing this work and I've been discovering a whole lot more because I wasn't allowed to even want anything. So I just forgot what those were. And damn sure I couldn't do needs because I would get punished for that. So I've forgotten what those were too. But in the course of my healing journey, I've been discovering those. I've been awakening those. I've been clarifying those. And then we take that into defining your best holiday. So it's like, okay, if I know what I want and I know what I need, I know what I like, what I know what I don't like, I can feel now what these dynamics are. And there's some interactions that I don't like, and there's some interactions that I do, some that are supportive and healthy, and some that aren't. How can I participate in me having the best path in this holiday? And this is what we're going to feel through today. We had a couple of practices that we dealt with over the last couple of weeks. We rooted in the present through our breath in that first week. We rooted in our breath and our bodies, stretched out our bodies last week. And now today, we're going to get right into our torso. We're going to feel for that heart. Now we root in breath and heartbeat because they're very present body processes. And so with this feel through, we're trying to get into the feeling of that heartbeat so that we can be closer to the sensations happening in our chest and our belly, where the seat of those emotions, where the cauldron of those emotions are, so that we can now take that past of holidays, that future of holidays, bring it to here and say, okay, how can I participate instead of just running the same program that I've done before? So we're going to get into our first practice for today. I'm going to try to get those three in. And that's what I've been doing in these last couple of weeks is trying to get three of these processes in. And they're just 2 minutes. And then we'll do some sharing after each one of those. To get ourselves to our first set of questions, just want you to sit with, right now, I just want you to sit with your body and see if you can notice your heartbeat. Just notice it. You don't have to do anything else special. Don't have to pay attention to your breath. You don't have to stretch. Just see if you can notice your heartbeat. And as you're trying to notice that heartbeat, I'm just going to ask that question to you. Where do you want to be for the holidays? Okay. So from here, as you are attempting to notice your heartbeat, we're going to do a little torso stretch. In this position, what you're going to do is have your pelvis be like an anchor, like it's set in cement. You from the waist down is just solid. And what you're doing with your top half is like a slow motion blowing in the wind. The wind is coming from all directions, it's whipping all around. And so, with that pelvis there, your spine bends over to the side. And it also bends to the other side. Whips around back, just in a slow way. Whips forward. It twists you over to one side, twisting and bending. Twisting and bending to the other side. Bending forward. Seeing if you can touch your shoulders to your hips. And if anybody here can do that, take your ass to Cirque du Soleil for real. Bend yourself backwards. See if you can touch your shoulder blades to your lower back. Twist again, turning to look behind you, pelvis facing forward. And then twist to the other side again. And now get yourself back to your neutral body position. See if you can notice that heartbeat. Noticing your heartbeat can happen in a few ways. A couple of them are just trying to bring your awareness to your heartbeat within your torso. You might also be able to hear it in your ears. You might be able to feel it where part of your body is touching a surface. And if any of those ways you're not able to notice, go ahead and put your hand on your chest to see if you can find it there. Now, if all of those don't work for you and you can't find that heartbeat, what I'm going to have you do is just root yourself in your breath. So just bringing all of your awareness to the different components of your breath. And I'm going to have you put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. For those of y'all that can feel your heartbeat, I'm going to have you put both your hands on your belly, holding that cauldron up. We're going to go into our 2 minutes. You're just going to be with that heartbeat. And I'm going to say that question, just sprinkled in here and there. So we'll start our 2 minutes, being with that heartbeat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Being with that heartbeat, being with that breath in that belly. Where do you want to be during your holiday? What's the feeling that you want to carry through your holiday? Stay with that heartbeat. Don't lose your breath. For those of y'all that are using breath, where do you want to be for your holiday? It doesn't have to be the holiday anymore. It can be your holiday. Staying with that heartbeat just a little bit longer. Staying with that belly. And time. That's 2 minutes. Throw a question over in the chat for you. and I'll take a couple of shares on this one. So the first iteration of where do you want to be for the holidays is what do you want to feel during your upcoming holiday? We're about a week out from the major one in the States. We also have another few that are sprinkled in here and there, one that's already ongoing. But how do you want to feel during your upcoming holiday? Have a couple of hands. We have Christine and Kara. Go ahead, Christine.
Hey everyone. um, yeah, I feel like where I want to be for the holidays, it's like it's very much like it seems more important to me. Like where I would want to be is a feeling, not a. I mean, the place doesn't matter. I don't. I mean, the place isn't some. I don't want to be any physical place in particular. I mean, I certainly don't want to be around my family. That would not be the best. What I want is like this internal feeling of being at home, and I guess what that looks like is feeling safe, wanted, like shown that I'm, like just valued and like and I guess that would look like just a virtual place because like all the people that show me or reflect back to me that I have any worth or that that they love me and that they actually are considering me and that that they care. All the people that consider like my actual family, like my chosen family, are just all virtual. So I feel like that looks like me just staying home and spending time with my friends that are like, kind of all over the world, and just I can only connect with virtually, and it's a bit disheartening because like I mean, it would be something really special if I could meet up with these people in the flesh, but it's not really an attainable thing at the moment. So it's just it would be comforting to spend time with them as always, but it's also very isolating to know that I'm still going to be sitting here alone in my apartment and not really have that physical connection that I could that would be something I dream about.
Yeah, I'm curious. There's so you mentioned not wanting to be with your family and wanting to be with other folks.
My
Um,
chosen family, yeah.
and yeah, and so I'm curious, what feeling are you not wanting to participate by being with family? Because I really want us to use that language of feeling. When we're
Mm-hmm.
in feel through, we have a lot of words that we want to put to it that then get us away from the feeling. And
Yeah,
so there's a feeling that you're not wanting to have when you go to your given or to your birth family, and then there's something that you're going toward with the other people
yeah.
that you want to hang out with.
I think I'm trying to avoid the rejection, avoid the criticism, and avoid not the criticism. That's not a feeling, but I'm trying to avoid the rejection, um, and the judgment, and just like the shame of just like knowing that being around my family, they're going to show me that I'm not valued, and I'm going to feel small
Mm,
and just unwanted there.
mm,
Because I don't I'm never going to be never going to be acceptable to them.
mm-hmm,
And I'm going toward through being spending time with my friends and the people that care about me. I'm going toward this feeling of acceptance and unconditional love and just and compassion that I'm getting from them.
mm. Okay. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. Kara.
Hi everyone. So, sorry. I know where I don't want to be. So, I want to be home and I want to be with my family and my kids, but that's not an option. Well, I mean, it is. I'm home, but anyways, um, I would like to actually feel loved and accepted and seen because right now I'm feeling very deleted.
Mm,
Um, I just walked in, so Side note, if you don't mind, good news, I just interviewed a trauma therapist before this, and I think it's going to work out. She's going to start seeing me weekly. So I'm super excited to break up with my old therapist because it hasn't been growing for me anymore.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then when I was walking in the house downstairs, I saw some of our portraits taken down and on the counter, and it just made me feel so deleted from things. And I don't want that internal feeling for the holidays. I would really like to find a little inner peace. This therapist helps give me a little relief, but I'd like to be able to look in the mirror and at least see myself as a person and have a little self-worth, because I'm finding it very hard to find that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd like to feel just a little peace for the holidays.
Yeah. Thank you, Kara.
Thank you.
A little peace and not deleted. Thank y'all for sharing. Denard, how about you? What were you sitting with?
I knew you was gonna call on me. This guy, feel like Tina. There's I was sharing with Tina, and so I would say in the group that we're in, so this feeling still lingers. I'm in that space where family of origin and shares space because this part of the family is, I want to use this term, better off, not necessarily well off, right? Because when we all poor, it's the person that has more money that's well off, right? And so, but it comes with a lot of experiences of past emotions and dreading just being fake in certain spaces. So I think with the fact that I have an opportunity to choose where I want to be, which is something I'm staying in that space. I have to make sure how I feel. The word deciduous kept coming up, and it's. I said first I want to feel peace, but it's not the type of peace people think of, right? I want a peace that is okay with shedding the chaos of not meeting people's obligations or being trendy or being their type of playful joy to make fun of, right? And I just said that I want to really be able to. I looked at my son, and I shared this last thing because I thought about it as you were sharing it. I remember, I got a 5-month-old, and so I'm changing a lot of diapers, and I still have the dirty diaper disciple, so getting them out the diaper. And I was changing one. He had just soiled his diaper. I learned this word, this proper word, soil. I used to say, just doo-doo, change it doo-doo, right? and so I'm talking about, I want to feel how he feel. I want to change, right? But this is what was crazy. I know the change that's going to happen to some extent is going to cause what just happened with him, which is once I change his poopy diaper, immediately when I put something fresh on, you know what he did again? He soiled it. And we had this moment where I felt what he felt without words. And this is what I'm trying to share is we looked at each other and he was like embarrassed, but he was also feeling like I felt, bruh, finally I get to do it my way. And we just started laughing at each other. He started kicking his feet, and I want to be at that space, but I don't need someone to have to change my diaper. I just need to know that I can change my diaper and be okay. That if I sit in it soiled, I'm happy. If it's changed out, I'm happy. So I want to shed that obligation that I got to come clean.
Ooh. Somebody put that in the chat because I know Denard would have done that. Shed the obligation that I have to come clean. That one was for all y'all that call yourselves messy and then I have to, pop your hand a little bit because nah, we don't do that in the pejorative. Thank you, Dinar. All right, Maria, we'll have you be our last share for this particular round.
Thank you, Mike. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm in the car.
Yes.
Okay, I joined a little late. I apologize. But today has been a kind of a turning point for me, a little bit of a turning point, and it was a little too raw earlier to jump on and share verbally, but I think I've kind of gotten past that a little bit. So my husband and I were trying to be separated under the same roof for the last couple of months, and that was not working out well. So last night was a terrible evening, and so today I booked a Airbnb for 3 days or 3 nights to just kind of get some peace.
Mm-hmm.
And so I communicated that to him today, which that did not go over well. And then I basically just said, look, this is my boundary. I'm not going to answer calls. I'm not going to respond to text messages. And I have held to that. So, so I don't know what my holiday is going to look like at this point. And that's kind of tough for me because Christmas is my thing,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, if I'm going to be even welcome to go visit some of my grandkids, and it's kind of in limbo right now, and that's going to be very difficult for me. But
Yeah. And I just want to even name, because I appreciate you bringing that in, the boundary that you made and the choice that you made for yourself is that you gave yourself some space to be able to consider what your Christmas can look like, even if it doesn't look like what it usually does.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm very proud of myself. I'll be even prouder if I can stop worrying about how he's feeling and start kind of focusing in on how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my next hurdle. But
Okay. Thank you, Maria.
thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, most definitely. I really do love the act of giving ourselves some space to just not be in the environment, just to get a little bit of clarity, get a little bit of relief, get a little bit of space to consider what our options are going forward from that place. Right. Getting ready to go to another 2 minutes of being with our hearts. Oh, get your body into a comfortable position. You might even want to lay down uh, for this. Lay yourself back, recline back in your chair. And go into that torso. See if you can notice your heartbeat. Right. So from here, again, if you can be with your heartbeat without your hands, do that. If you can be with your heartbeat with your hand, do that. And if you can't find your heartbeat either way, be with your breath, both hands on your belly. Focus with your on your heart, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Being with that heartbeat. How fast is it? How heavy is it? How many beats do you notice? How many different changes in beat do you notice? All right, so for these next 2 minutes, we're just going to loosen. Loosening is all about being in with your heart and just loosening anything that you feel tense or tight in your chest, your belly, your sides, your back. Any tension that you feel, you're just going to try to see if you can let it melt away. This is all about trying. If it doesn't work, if you can't find a way to let that tension go, don't trip. Please don't trip. This is all practice and all process. It's a new thing. Right. We're going to start our 2 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Staying with that heartbeat or breath. Loosening anything on or in your torso that you feel. If you need a reference point for what loosen might mean, think of going to the bathroom. When we go to the bathroom, we're releasing the tension that we're holding things in. We're just letting go. If you were to try to release your bladder right now, what might happen? So it's a similar thing, moving up to your belly and seeing if you can loosen anything there. Up to your chest, see if you can loosen anything there. Up to your shoulders, can you loosen anything there? Down the top part of your back, can you loosen anything there? Down to your lower back, can you loosen anything there? And have everybody take a deep breath in. Back to that heartbeat. Back to that loosening. And time. That was 2 minutes. And over in the chat, just put a couple of other questions. So I just want you to be with that heartbeat still. As you go over to the chat, staying with that heartbeat, staying with that breath and belly. What parts of your upcoming holiday give to what you want to feel? And what parts of your upcoming holiday take from how you want to feel? It's all about the distinctions. You know, people say that nasty little term, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We're recognizing that we can't toss all the things away. The same way that it's been hard for a lot of us to quote unquote toss away exes, for us to toss away things in the past. There's little bits that we want in that. There's little bits that are essential for us in that. Our holidays, they bring up a whole bunch of stuff. Parts that give to the peace or the joy that we want to feel, and those that take from. And we're talking about interactions. We're talking about environments. We're talking about objects. What parts of your upcoming holiday give to or take from how you want to feel? Take a couple of shares on that. Kara.
I hope I'm on track with what you're asking. I just blanked. I'm so sorry. So, my husband, or what I don't even know what to call him anymore, is going to his dad's for New Year's Eve. So it's a holiday, my first holiday that will be completely separated. because I think the kids will be home for Christmas. So I'm not wanting to feel alone. Fortunately, I will have my 17-year-old son. And though oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm just so overstimulated right now. I lost my
Yeah,
train of thought.
it's totally
Um,
okay. I do have a question though that might be
yeah,
able to get you right back on track. You mentioned feeling you don't want to feel alone, and that you'll have your 17-year-old son there. Does your 17-year-old son give to or take away from that lonely feeling?
he
Does he make you
definitely,
feel connected, or do you feel more alone around him?
thank you. Yeah, no, he makes me feel better. He's obviously a 17-year-old boy, so it's not like we have the closest relationship, but we have a good relationship. So he knows the situation, and honestly, he's dealing with a rough time with his dad too, so we're kind of bonding a little bit over that. Not that
Mm,
I'm not trying to like segregate his dad. Like I love him very much, and I'm trying to do all I can to make self improvements to hopefully better our outcome. However, I cannot count on that knowing he did ask for this separation and healing time and a divorce in 18 months. So I'm trying to be respectful, but it's going to be hard. So what I
mm,
also did for myself to give back to that healing is fortunately the new therapist I set up is actually available on New Year's Eve, so she's going to meet with me. So I also have that to lean on.
mm.
And of course, circles, which gives back. So I know I won't be alone, and that heartache and that hole feels like I'm suffocating. So it's going to be a balance that I have to figure out.
Yeah, balance. I like that word too. And it really is. It reminds me of what Denard was sharing earlier, where there is there's a peace, but it's not the peace that people are used to. There's a peace that has a little bit of disturbance in it, but it's well placed disturbance. It's I am peace at the center, but on the edges there's a little bit of disturbance because I know that there's going to be blowback from me protecting this peace that I have. And the peace doesn't look like a joyful peace. It's not a peace that has slit eyes and a contented mouth and all that. There's a I don't feel good, and I'm at peace with that. I don't need you trying to change how I feel. I'm here. I'm present, and in that way, there's that balance. I'm supporting this peace that I have. I'm supporting the feeling that I have by getting these connections, making sure that I have my therapist, making sure that I have my circle support, even though there's going to be some heaviness and not being with a person that I'm used to being with. Thank you, Kara. Kathy.
Good evening, everyone. So, in slowing down, I realized that in addition to wanting peace and calm, I also want joy. And
Mm-hmm.
when I looked at the question, what parts of your upcoming holiday gives you what you want to feel, I started to answer that question with parts of the upcoming holiday I get to spend with my two beautiful grown daughters and their sweethearts. And I realized as I was answering that question that my initial response of peace and calm, which I also want, I really want joy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to get to experience joy this holiday with them. And when I look at what parts of your upcoming holiday take from how you want to feel, it is I'm experiencing the duality of I get to experience joy, and I also will be grieving the relationship with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to allow space for both. Um, I am going to sit with the feelings of the grief that I feel, and I'm going to allow the joy that I will be able to have also.
Mm. Ooh, you're doing some. I have a picture in the head. I've gone back to Cirque du Soleil and all the balancing acts, and balancing of allowing joy to happen without it negating or dismissing or devaluing the grief that's happening right next to it.
Yes.
Mm. Or allowing the grief to grab a hold and pull on the joy and not let it go where it wants to go when it shows up.
Yeah. Absolutely, Mike. And I will say that when I was sitting trying to feel my heartbeat, I could not feel my heartbeat until I closed off my external ear canal hole, if you will. And then I heard it loud and strong.
Mm.
And it felt so good to hear my own heartbeat. I haven't heard it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And to pay attention to it was, I don't even know the word, friend, but I'm glad I could hear it
Yeah.
and be in tune with it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. And you named something that so many of us in this room have experienced, and that's that I haven't felt my heartbeat in a while. And when I say it like that, it's more about I haven't stopped when my heart wasn't like beating out of my chest because I was so tired or I got scared or things were so intense that my heart just was boom, 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 boom. When there and I can feel it. But in this very subtle, very nuanced, very still way, going in to be with and possibly converse with my heart. Oh, it's such a beautiful thing.
And Mike, the other thing in the beginning of the call when you're talking about how are you today? Oh,
Uh-huh.
so if I were to be pre-verbal, this is how my day went. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh, ah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. We're gonna have to start doing check-ins like that.
It might be a great, master class of grunts and groans.
Oh, 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 thank you, Kathy. All right. Christine, do you have something short? I want to make sure to get our last process in here before we close.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say, I guess I'm struggling to feel any sense of safety or connection, especially during the holidays. Um, like more so, without the use of substances, because that's something I struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like that's the only time that I feel like when I'm using is the only time I feel normal or safe to be able to tolerate the feelings and the memories and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just wanted to share that's something I'm struggling with right now, and I like the idea of kind of feeling my own heartbeat and just trying to find an alternative path to being connected with myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I just want to let you know, like these master classes are recorded. They're up on YouTube. They're in circles playlist is where they have them. Um, and I mentioned them because these 2 minute little processes, these are the ways that I have reintroduced myself to myself, my sense of self, my mental, my physical, my emotional. And just like you were talking about, there's so much overwhelm in the things that we've been through that trying to take it all at the same time is like trying to stand in front of a tsunami and think that we're not going to get crushed. But what we can do is we can take ourselves to the sink and experience water there, and then take ourselves to the bath and experience our water there, and then get to a kiddie pool and experience our water there, and keep growing. And so I mentioned the recordings because those 2 minute processes and one that I'll put over in the chat at the end are what I just offer, just in terms of taking yourself in small doses, in these little tiny doses, and then those tiny doses become more and more and more, so that you can then start to feel a little bit more of those things that must be processed and gotten out, so that you can make space for more you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. All right.
Hey, Mike, do you mean my grunting's recorded for all of history?
Yes, all of history, all of YouTube, and I'm going to share it out all kinds of wide. And I'm going to say go to minute 40, 47 for the best grunting that you can. All right. We're going to get into our last 2 minute process, getting back into that heartbeat, getting back to that torso. Those of y'all that were rooting in your breath, getting back to that breath, getting those hands back on your belly, on your chest, noticing that heartbeat. Right, and this last one that we're going to do, it goes hand in hand with the loosening. So if you had a challenging time loosening what you noticed to be tense, or not even noticing what was tense or contracted, this can support allowing a little bit more loosening to happen that's more active in nature. So what we're going to do is you're going to squeeze your torso, like squeezing yourself into a ball, as if you were like crumpling your torso up like a piece of paper, and just squeeze your chest and squeeze your belly and squeeze your sides, squeeze your back, and then you're going to release. So we're going to do that before we get into our 2 minutes and our heartbeat. And how we're going to do that is on the in breath, you're going to allow yourself to loosen. And then you're going to squeeze your torso on the out breath, like squeezing that air out of you, every last drop of air that you can. And then when you take that in breath, you're going to just let that contraction and that squeeze go. And that'll be the opposite, it's the loosen. Okay? So everybody go ahead and let's just take a really deep breath in, loosening that torso, chest, back, belly. Exhale and squeeze. Inhale and release. Exhale and squeeze. Inhale and release. One more. Exhale and squeeze. Back to your neutral posture. Back to your regular breath. Going in to notice that heartbeat. I'm going to start the timer. 3, 2, 1. So we squeezed and released. We now have loosened torsos, and we're sitting with, where do you want to be for your holiday? And also, what can you do to support what you want to feel? Don't worry about answering that question mentally. You're checking in with your heart and being with that heartbeat, staying with that breath, staying with that belly. Ask your heart, what can I do to support you this holiday? And then just be available for the answer. Everyone, deep breath in, slow breath out, staying with that heartbeat. Loosening up that chest, loosening up that belly, staying with that heartbeat. That's time. Stay with that heartbeat and put this last question over in the chat. And this one, we won't be doing the sharing around, but it's because it's something that you want to take into your next week, especially if you're a Christmas celebrator. That's next Wednesday, next week this time. And so you want this question to just be working with you during the course of your week. What can you do to support what you want to feel? We were doing something with our torsos. We were squeezing. We did something so that we could support the release when we inhaled. We tried to do the loosen, just doing that. It's like, okay, that may have worked. It may not have. And especially for those that might not have, we went to, okay, what can I do to support loosening? I did something and it supported loosening. So here, what can you do to support what you want to feel? Because it's your holiday. And if you're staying home for it, you want to support yourself in the way that you get to experience the most of what you want to feel. By bringing some people closer, by moving some people further away, creating and crafting the kind of environment, internally and externally, that will support what you want to feel. Let's check in with the Nard, see what you want to say as we wrap on up.
Oh man, the main thing, that question, as I was noticing the loosening that was happening from the questions prior to where I feel like I want to be to where I am, and then you pose that question for me to question my heart. Although you said don't entertain it, I would say that I think that was the most riveting thing for me today, to speak to my heart, and that heart to heart that Kathy said, and say, how can I support you?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like even hearing it back from you, it brings tears, underneath my eyes. Because it's like when we really, 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 really look at life, isn't that what we're doing? Well, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Isn't that what we're designed to do? Like we have this heartbeat. When it stops, we stop. So really, what the things that we're trying to do, all the things we're trying to acquire, the things we're trying to learn, how we're trying to navigate the spaces that we're in, the extremities that we have, everything is like built around all of these vital organs.
Mm.
And we're supporting this heart by the things that we eat, by what we say to it, by who we bring around it, and who we bring it around. And that's a conversation that we don't have enough. The one with our hearts, the actual heart to heart.
Mm.
Thank you, Denard. All right, you got a nice little dismount, Kathy? Yes. Yes. I really dig that. You know what? That's what we're going to end on. So, with that, that's the end of our time. I want to thank y'all for being here. I want to definitely thank Denard for allowing me to show up in his space again and do the things that I do. And I really want to thank y'all for playing alongside with me in this for these 3 weeks. The holidays are some thick times. We're moving into some thick times next year. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff that's happening. Staying home is going to be essential in that. And so our holidays are not only the test, but also practice. Practice to be with ourselves. Make sure you thank yourself for being here. Make sure you talk to your heart this week. Take care of yourselves, y'all.